topic is site design, understanding pre-production. The pre-production phase of web development is all about coming up with a game plan and a plan of attack. There are 5 main parts to the pre-production phase: defining the project, competitive research, user research, planning the structure, and planning the interface. The first phase of pre-production is defining the project. If you are really creating a plan for a football team, you would define who your team is, what your record has been, and what your goals for the season are in this phase of the pre-production. In defining the project, you make sure you understand the project, including the purpose and project goals, the content, the scope, and the client goals and expectations. Deliverables for this phase of the pre-production include documentation from the client, meeting with the client, a project contract that states what you will deliver to the client, and a content inventory that lists the content that the client already has and what will need to be created. If you're planning a football season, your competitive research would include scoping out the competition. When you're doing competitive research for web development, the whole point, similar to a football team, is knowing what you're up against. To understand your competition, you'll want to understand what they do well and what they do poorly and learn from them. You'll also want to recognize how you are the same or different so that you can have a better idea of how to create a strong brand and marketing plan for yourself. It is also important to know who they think their primary audience is, because it may or may not be the same users that you had in mind. A competitive analysis comparing different competitor sites and their features is usually conducted in this phase. Once you have defined the project, it's time to start thinking about the user. In the football example, this would be your fans that watch you play every week. In the user research phase, you try to understand the users of your site, including why they would use your site, their goals, their background in terms of subject knowledge, their technical skills, and their technical tools, such as hardware and software that they will be using when they use your site. Actions for this phase include surveys, focus groups, interviews, and in-field observation. Deliverables can include creating a user profile and a persona analysis that defines your users and provides specific, hypothetical examples of who your users are. The user research you do helps you to better understand your audience, and you should keep them in mind at every step of the design process. This is also called user-centered design. Planning the structure is the time when you are ready to start putting your game plan on paper and map out your strategy for the team. You'll create your IA, or information architecture, by organizing your content into categories, grouping related information together, and creating paths for browsing information. Actions and deliverables in this phase include card sorting, creating a site outline or a site map, creating a site diagram and/or a flowchart, and of course testing your information architecture, probably in the form of a site diagram, with either your development team or users. Your newly formed IA is the structure that your site will be built on and the roadmap for the development team to follow. After you have defined the project, done competitive and user research, and planned out the structure, you are ready to start planning the interface. Ironically, this is a step that most unexperienced web designers will skip to first. But without the first 4 pre-production steps, you wouldn't have a complete understanding of what you are designing. When it's time to plan the interface, the designer sketches out where items are located based on everything you have learned about the needs of the site and its users. The functionality of the site can also be tested. Actions and deliverables in this phase include wireframes, storyboards, screen-level design prototypes or mock-ups, and functional mock-ups.